a trucker's tale from the north. I was hitchhiking along the E-105 highway in Murmansk Oblast, somewhere between Monchegorsk and Perengai. 4 hours of walking, and darkness was creeping in. A nature reserve, thick forest everywhere. Name escapes me. Evening tightened its grip. Cars wouldn't stop. Drivers floored it when they saw me, like I was bad news. Then a trucker pulled over. Maybe he felt sorry for me. He stopped 100 yards up, leaned out the passenger window, flashlight in hand. Its beam hit me square in the face. Sun was gone, but it wasn't total blackout yet. Still, he didn't let that light waver as I trudged toward him. I reached the door. He cracked it open. We swapped a few words. His eyes sized me up, suspicious. Then, bam! He hit me with a joke. I was beat, but the guy had a warmth to him. That Mercedes cab felt like a haven. I laughed. First to be polite, then for real. Gut deep. That broke the ice. He flung the door wide. "Hop in," he said. We rolled out, but his sideways glances kept coming, mixed with small talk. It got under my skin. Finally, he asked why I was out there so late. I said I was hitchhiking to the Barents Sea, stuck because no one would stop. He smirked. "You're lucky I found you." Then he started talking. After sunset, this road dies. Locals tear through in their cars, never stop. They'll grab a hitchhiker in daylight, but only if they know him. "I'm from here," he said. "Murmansk born. Know every inch of this place. There's a story they tell, not some campfire yarn, a real legend. He heard it as a kid. After dark, from dusk to midnight, something prowls this highway. Too shadowy to make out. No one's got the guts to stop and look closer. Those who tried, they don't come back. Locals call them the passengers. Been stalking these roads for 50 years. Back in Soviet days, this was logging country. They cleared land for roads, hauled in prisoners for labor camps. Remote as hell. Lose your way, you're done. Camps were brutal, no escape. Then one day, a whole sawmill shift vanished. 12 men. Poof. Gone. Search parties went out. Sailors from a base swept the woods. A week later, they started nabbing them, one by one. Turns out, the group fractured. Every man for himself, scattered like roaches. 4 stuck together. 3 older guys and a kid. That kid was no nobody. Son of a bigwig, tossed in for something heavy. His dad pulled strings. Light sentence, 5 years, maybe 7. Local papers screamed warnings. Stay out of the woods. No berries. No mushrooms. Cops plastered alerts everywhere. When they caught the stragglers, folks relaxed. Unless you were in the search. The ones nabbed alone spun stories about those 3 and the kid. Each tale uglier than the last. Cops started sweating by the end. Ever hear what canned food means in a camp? Yeah, you know. Last guy they caught said food ran dry. Those 3 started eyeing the kid like meat. The rest bolted, couldn't stomach it. Kid's dad scoured the forest himself, screaming in grief. Papers stayed hushed to keep panic down. They found the boy. Starvation beat the others to him. Worst part? They were a mile from the highway. Could have scavenged something. Orders came. Shoot the 3 on sight. Days later, sailors cornered them in a swamp. They were eating, didn't even finish. Bodies got loaded on a truck for town, but it sank in the bog. Driver barely got out. They left The corpses. There. Seasons passed. People started vanishing on this road. Nighttime walkers, gone without a trace. Locals stopped going on foot. It went quiet for a year. Then cars turned up empty, nosed into the dirt, like they swerved at speed. Doors wide, stuff strewn, drivers missing. Bandits, they said. Set up patrols. Nothing worked. People here, not just cops, believed something worse. Rumors flew about figures on the road at night. Everyone knew. Empty cars got rare. Nobody stops now. It happens still, but only to outsiders. Those who've sped by say headlights show the truth. They're not human. Eyes like glowing saucers. Hungrier they get, wider those eyes burn. That's why he lit me up with that flashlight, checking. Another Murmansk driver told him a story. Stopped his rig one night, clueless. Cab was high, safe, he thought. Started to lower the window, like my guy did with me. Something was at the door already. Couldn't see it. Just heard a rasp. "Open up, man!" He crossed himself, floored it, got out. Humans don't growl like that, don't stare like wolves from the dark. He hit the gas, and something slammed the door, hard. Metal held, window would have shattered. He didn't sleep till dawn, then hit a truck stop. Checked the door, dent like a rebar hit it. Other drivers crowded, round, swapped their own tails. Bones show up in the swamp sometimes. Human bones, piled neat, gnawed clean. A few years back, foreign tourists vanished here. Cops combed the forest, found bones and a shiv. Nail turned blade, prison style. After that it went quiet. They ate their fill, I guess. Trucker swore he'd seen nothing himself. Glints in the headlights sometimes. Foxes, wolves, maybe worse. Once, something crossed the road, human-sized, moved like a beast. Wolf, or one of them. Nobody's gone missing here in 3-4 years. Maybe it's done, maybe it's lies. Still keeps you up at night. I listened, cab rocking, sleep pulling at me. Creepy stuff to picture at night, but exhaustion won. He kept spinning stories. I slumped against the window, signs and trees blurring past. Night highway felt empty, heavy. Rare cars didn't break the spell. Half dozing, I saw flickers in the woods. Glints tracking us, like bike reflectors catching moonlight. I don't scare easy. Heard worse tales, lived a few. But this hit different. My eyes caught 2 glowing orbs in the trees. Watching. Hungry. Chilled me to the marrow. Turned to the trucker. He'd gone silent, staring at the road. A shape loomed on the shoulder, closing fast. Part of me wanted to vanish into the seat. Part wanted to stare it down. We blew past, and he muttered, "Damn lucky I grabbed you." It looked like a cat in the dark, eyes blazing with light. We were hauling, but it blurred by. A wail, faint, furious, hit my ears. Then it got worse. A voice, rasping, growling, breathless, came from my side of the cab. "He's ours. Why'd you take him?" A shadow, same as before, loped beside us, keeping up, demanding. Trucker's face turned to stone. Lips tight. He gunned it. Not a word. Silence crushed us till he slammed the horn. I jolted, ears ringing, and peered ahead. A car swerved left, wild, nearly smashed head on. Headlights caught a shadow darting across. Inside, a man and woman, faces pale with terror. Kid's hands clutched the driver's seat. Car stopped dead in the road. We locked eyes. Thought we'd pull over. Help. Then I checked the mirrors, saw what circled them. Murmansk Oblast, E105, Monchegorsk to Perengay. Never stop there after dark.